Could you provide us with an example or some examples of your experiences with dual enrollment and your perspective of dual enrollment? And then also, if you were faced with financial problems for sustaining that particular program, how would you be able to help with securing funding to keep it going?
Okay. My experience with dual enrollment goes back from the days I was principal at Huntington High School, and it extends to my position currently in Montgomery, Alabama. We are certainly still building articulation agreements with Trinity State College in Montgomery. In short, I support it. How do you support it in tough times? And I'm in tough times right now. Our district is facing big budget cuts. You support it the way you support anything else. You list your priorities, you take care of your priorities first, and you put your money where your priorities are. Of course, you look for other avenues too, but I am a big supporter of dual enrollment. To the three parts I think you heard about parent training, I would think that the district is already doing something in that regard. I'm sure that they do. I've seen so many other wonderful resources they have that it's just a matter of getting parents to attend. The 30-minute recesses are not going to happen. The leap is, even when I worked here a long time ago with I have an issue with the I-leap, I think is what it's called, in 4th and 8th grade, particularly in 4th and 8th grade. And I have an issue because I've seen 4th grade students have so much anxiety about taking this test that's going to determine whether they're going to go to 5th grade or not, that it just tears me apart. I think children need to be held accountable. I wish that it was, and what I think is this, that it should be, yeah, 4th grade leap and 8th grade leap should count for something. But it shouldn't count, it shouldn't overshadow what the child has done every day in class. It shouldn't overshadow that. So I'd like to see the state go to a part at 4th and 8th grade that this test counts for 20% of the found grade that will determine promotion, but not be the sole determinant, because I've seen too many good students who have so much anxiety they cannot perform on the test, and you have to talk to them. It's not healthy for children to go through that kind of anxiety. So I would like to see some changes in that. In my state right now, there are no consequences until you take the graduate exam, and I'd like to see some changes in that, because I think it hurts our accountability score because children don't take the test serious. But it should be a good marriage somewhere in there.
Do you have the will, the courage to go in and address central office issues when you see them, and address principal performance issues when you see them? Because that is needed in this community and needed in this system.
Absolutely. Without a question. Check my record.
And how will you do that?
How will I do it? The same way I do everything else. I said that even the central office, you have to have the courage to tell people what their work look like. Okay? Now, I'm not saying I want to come here and have total turnover in our principals and central office position. Absolutely not. I think it takes time to, number one, develop a relationship where you know what the expectations are. Secondly, it takes time to really know what ability levels are. But the thing that you can't teach people, okay? The thing that you can't teach is having the courage to tell people what their work looks like. And that's why you can go all over the country, and you've got teachers who have tenured and they're doing nothing, and nobody's saying anything to them, just a few, okay? And people wonder, how did that happen? You have principals who have set on the job something, and they make it bad for everybody, because as you address it, you say central office and principals. And I hate to put everybody in one category, because it's just a few non-performers out there. But they tear up a district. If you've got a teacher in a good school, and you've got 50 teachers on your staff, and you've got one on the floor that's not doing their job, it tears up that whole floor. And when that non-performing teacher is dealt with, everybody on that floor gets happy, because they want people working. It's the same thing with principal, it's the same thing in central office, it's the same thing in any organization. It's more pronounced in public education because we deal with a lot of people that do a lot of talking, particularly about the negative things.
I'd like to know what you've done in Montgomery and what you'd like to bring to Baton Rouge to recruit, support, and retain highly qualified and certified teachers.
You know, 2 years doesn't give you a long time to do a lot, but one thing I noticed right away with our teachers, all our new teachers didn't have mentors or somebody to work with. Particularly, they didn't have mentors that was in their building. I thought it was pretty sad that that a teacher could be at school B and didn't have a master or mentor teacher who had been trained to take care of their needs in the building, that somebody had to leave school, get a sub, and go over there to do that. So we trained everybody to be a mentor. The second thing is we wanted to extend that. It just don't happen in a year. Teachers don't grow up in a year. They don't learn how to do this craft in a year. It is tough. They need support in the second and third years as well. The other thing that I encourage our principals to do, and I've encouraged this everywhere, we tend to hire new teachers and we give them every extracurricular and co-curricular activity that nobody else wants. We make them this coach, and you're the assistant reading coach, you're the assistant football coach, and because we can't get nobody to go with the wrestling team, even though you don't know anything about it, we want you to go with them, okay? That's terrible. These people need time to learn their craft. They need time to plan their lessons. And the other thing, and the final thing, and I could talk about this for a long time, but the final thing is this. I've encouraged our principals, particularly at the middle and high schools, not to put their best teachers in grades 11 and 12. We need your best teachers in the entry-level grades of high school. We need your most experienced teachers in the 9th and 10th grade. And we need our most experienced teachers in the middle schools in grades 6 and 7. Because those transition years are where we lose children. And the thing that's killing us in our middle schools is pedagogy. I've been in elementary schools today, and I'm seeing kids working in small groups, they're working peer-to-peer, they're all over the place. And for some reason, we seem to think that when a child leaves 5th grade and they go home June and July, that they're going to come back and be able to listen to you lecture for 30 minutes and fill in the blank, and we're losing kids are bored out of their gills in the first week of school. Why can't the adults that we pay change and learn how to teach these kids in the manner that they've been learning all the time? That has to end, folks. So I went all around the world to answer your question, and I hope I did. Recruitment, no, we've done nothing innovative because we don't have to. We are surrounded by a university. That question came up today. You know, we have no problem finding highly qualified teachers in the area that I am. When I was in Caddo Parish, we had a different situation. And I remember very vividly, even as a principal, getting with the personnel director and driving to Houston for Teach for America and doing everything we could to find teachers in hard-to-staff areas, such as science, particularly chemistry, science, special education, music. So you do what you have to do. I would hope that the business community could partner with the school system to make recruiting the most attractive thing that could ever happen, because there are just so many things we could do if we work together to attract good teachers to this area. It's a wonderful area to come to.
So I'd like to know first what you know about National Board Certification, and second, if you've heard of the National School Faculty Reform Movement and or Critical Friends.
Let me answer the second part first. I've never heard of Critical Friends, so I'm not familiar with that. I am familiar with National Board Certification for teachers. Support it. A lot of work it goes into it. I think it makes our teachers strong. I wish I could do more in our district, more for an incentive with the board, but we haven't been able to do that. I met several today that have received the certification. More than just making them a good teacher, it's kind of like when you know, I know you've had 2 candidates that's gone through the Bro Superintendent's Academy. It's kind of your calling card for the nation, okay, is what it gives you, which is good as well.